Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erika and I'm doing DIYs, home decoration. And today DIY, I'm gonna show how you can make from a gem jar a beautiful home decor. The first thing what you're gonna need, you need a gem jar and painting it white. Sorry. You're gonna need some tape, paint, you need black, you need light gray and dark gray, what you can make from white and black paint, and some sponge. First thing what you're gonna need, you take your tape and tape it around your jar in a line. The first piece of tape is gonna be your first line. Your second tape is gonna be your spacer. What you're not pushing down, just spacing around it. The second is gonna be your next line, what you're pushing down on the jar. Now you're taking your spacer off and space it under your line. Do not push it down, just going around your line. You got the tape and you're gonna make your last line. And now you take it off your spacer. Don't throw it away, your spacer, because you're gonna use it. Next thing what you're gonna do, you're getting your sponge and your light gray color and carefully going around on your line. Don't use too much paint because it can bleed under the tape. and you just going around with your line. So after you went between the lines with your light gray, you let it dry for like 30 minutes maybe, and then we're gonna go to the next step. You can check my other items what I made on my Facebook side, which is DIY Home Decor by Erika. After your paint is dried, you can take it off carefully, the tapes. And then we're gonna start with the second steps. After it's dried and you took off your tape, it should be look like this. Well, better lines. I have a little bit of bleeding, so we're gonna start with the next step. When we were starting from the top to the bottom, we was used first the tape, then the spacer. This time around, we're using first spacer, then your tape. You can push it down, make it sure the edges are covered. Then you're using again your spacer. Then tape. After when you finish and went around, you should be got something like this. So one tape of line, one spacer, line, spacer, line, spacer, line, spacer. Make sure the spacer is stuck to your glass really well to make sure it's not bleeding like the first one. And then what you're gonna do now, you're gonna use your darker gray and you go in between the lines. between the lines nicely. Not too much paint. Trying to avoid the bleeding under the tape. Making sure your line being covered everywhere. I recommend for whoever is starting first doing in a dish or a tray, because even for me this is a little bit more difficult to doing on a jar. After, when you went all around the lines with your dark gray, you set it on the side and let the paint is dry. If your paint is completely dried, we're starting the last step. We do not remove the second round tapes. We leave it on, and we're gonna work our way from the top to the bottom again, starting with our tape. I started to doing craft because I find on YouTube Olivia from Olivia's Romantic Home. After you watch my video, please go and check her out. She's doing lots of DIYs and she's very talented. So when we taped up the first line for us, then we gonna put our spacer under it. And then we're gonna put our line down. And then you're going all the way down. After you lined up your jar, you're going around and make it sure it's everywhere attached to the jar, so hopefully no bleeding. And then we're gonna start with our black paint between the lines. Not too much paint, just lightly, because can cause bleeding under the tape. After you done with the black color, you put it on the side and let it dry it completely before we're doing our last step. When your paint is dry, you can starting to take it off your tape. This technique I actually learned from other YouTube channel where you can make buffalo check anything, and I know it's very popular. Now we can see it have some bleeding. Is kinda not a problem, because you can go around with your acrylic paint pen, which is I bought from Amazon, and actually was very cheap, and I bought it a very long time ago. You can go around with your pan and fix the line. It's not a problem. If you want to be very perfect with your lines, you can do it with a pen. Me personally, I like it how is it, but just for you guys, I'm gonna go around and kind of fix the lines. White acrylic paint pen. And all those little mistakes, you can fix it. Not a problem. Sorry about if my hand is shaky. I have some problems with my hand. So after you fix up your lines, it should look like that. Isn't it cute? To seal it, you can use Mod Podge or any varnish, or we can decorate it. You can leave it like this. You can put around the neck some June twine, and I'm gonna show you another way to decorate this. To make it To make it more farmhouse style, we can use some bait with hot glue and going around the edges. Like that. And when you finish it, should be look like something like that. Next step, just going around with some jute twine. And then you should have something like that. Now you can use it just like a vase with some pound length flowers. Isn't it beautiful? Or you can go a little bit forward and you can use jute twine and measure your jars high and double it up. And you're gonna need that size, at least 6 or 8. This depends how close you want your patterns, what we're gonna make from this size. I'm gonna go with 6. Next thing, what you're gonna do, measuring top of your jar. Make sure you have enough jute twine to tie around the neck. Next step, what you're gonna do, you're putting what you measured jute twine top. So what you're gonna do, you put your measured jute twine and the top of the jute twine, and you make loops and you bring it down. You do the same thing with the other one. Double it up. at your jute twine. There is a little hole. Put your jute twine through the hole and pull it down. So my last one. You double up your jute twine, make a hole and pull it through and pull it. And then you have to have something like this. You can move in around. You get your jar. And you're gonna tie really tight. And your jar. Make it really tight, cut it down the extra. And trying to space it however you wanted, however far you want it from each other. And then you have to have something like this. Next step, what you're gonna do, you're gonna get two of your string, and which is closest to each other. You do a hook. How far you want your pattern. And you go in around. Make a hook. Hold it. Closest to each other. Hook. At the same time, you can measure it to be the same, to be the same size. If it's not easily can fix it, just open your little hook. I said it, I'm very new with these YouTube videos and trying my best to teach home design in a budget. Going all around until you will not get to all the way down to the bottom of your jar. When you went around all the way to the bottom, you grab the bottom jute twine and you're gonna twist it around all of them. And pull it. And you have a little tassel in the bottom. Now to make it this hang, you're gonna get jute twine and measure the weight how long you want to be hanging. Pull in around and tie it. The next one, you're gonna measure it for, well, was the first one, and you're trying to measuring where you want to put it. The next one. So now you have 2 strings. And when you put all your 4 strings in it, you have to have something like this. And you just doing the hook, pulling through, and you can hang it up. And that is our little jar with flowers. Now you can make bottles with dots, and you can hang it up in your gondola. Thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe please to my channel so I can make more home decor and I can teach you to spend less money on your home decor. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.